Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your December 2020 mid-month general readings. This is for the fire sign of Aries, and it's for the last 2 weeks of December. Welcome everyone. I hope you're all doing well, moving through the holiday season, and preemptively I wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. A happy, better New Year. This one has been quite challenging for everyone. So thanks for taking the time to tune into this video and for following this YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, for those of you who do. Thanks for hitting that like button and that share and subscribe button as well. So this reading is for Aries for the last 2 weeks of December 2020. That's Aries Sun, Moon, Rising. If your Venus is in Aries, if you're cross-watching for Aries, it's all relevant. But try to watch all of your videos because they can provide additional insight. If any of the readings do resonate with you, you'd like to reach out for a personal reading for yourself or perhaps a holiday gift for a friend, family, or loved one, click on the description link below. You'll see my email address there, maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. Please feel free to email me directly. I'd be delighted to hear from you. And I can usually respond with information within the same day, and as I do readings full time, I'm pretty diligent about working with everyone's schedules and my own to get the personal readings set up as quickly as possible. I do offer a wide variety of them, including 6 and 12-month overviews, which are quite popular this time of year as we are transitioning out of an old year and looking ahead at a new one, getting a sneak peek at what kind of lies ahead in all the main areas of life. And they do make great holiday gifts, and especially considering the state of the world today, they're quite safe. You don't have to leave your house to either give them or receive them, so something to keep in mind. Okay, Aries, let's move right into your reading and see what the last half of December and this year holds for you. For those of you who need to know, I am using the Tarot of Dreams and clarifying with the Gilded Tarot Royale. Well, we begin with you, Aries, King of Wands. For some of you, might represent another fire sign individual, Leo's, Aries, Sagittarius. With the King of Wands, we have the Five of Cups, so there might be some sadness or regret, this usually is, over perhaps something. It always references something that's happened in the past because this person is kind of looking at the 3 cups that they have spilled out in front of them. However, they still have 2 cups full. So not all is lost. It's a card of regret over something that happened or was lost or maybe poor choices or something, but there still is something to salvage. You may not realize it, or you may not have recognized it because you're focusing only on, you know, what's wrong or what's gone before, but all is not lost in this card. Although, you know, one can argue that it might be if you're focusing only on the past and not on what you have around you and what the possibilities are. Next, we have the Ace of Swords, which is a new perspective, a new idea. The Ace of Swords represents illumination, you know, seeing something clearly either for the first time, seeing it in a brand new perspective. The Ace of Swords represents, you know, seeing something for the truth of what it really is. And even though that might be difficult to see if what you're looking at isn't, you know, particularly pleasant, or perhaps because of this regret card, maybe you're seeing some part of the responsibility you may have shared in some kind of, you know, previous challenge or, you know, damage or something of that sort. So the Ace of Swords can represent, it's a card that can represent success, but it's a card that represents success that comes from seeing something clearly in its absolute truth and reality and making decisions and choices based on that illumination, based on that enlightenment that can create a healthier reality for yourself. So for example, it looks like here that you may have some regret over something that's happened in the past, might be a relationship or some other kind of situation, but you're seeing it quite clearly now, and in that clear insight, you have the opportunity to make choices to perhaps correct it, or, you know, there might be some redemption here. Not that it's all one-sided, it never is, particularly in a relationship, but it's a card of clarity, perhaps sudden clarity. And it's accompanied by Justice. So Justice primarily is the reap what you sow card. It's about things being equal and karmically equitable and balancing the scales of justice out. And it's it's the reap what you sow card because, you know, that saying justice is blind, because it means that the outcome of something is dependent on your actions, choices, decisions, not what you thought, intended, wanted, but on what you actually do. So it looks like there is an opportunity here, perhaps because of seeing something clearly or seeing something from a different perspective, maybe a more truthful and realistic perspective, that there's an opportunity to perhaps redress something and put something into balance which was previously out of balance. Again, if this was a relationship issue, everyone kind of has their share of responsibility in this situation, but this is about perhaps taking yours. We have the Three of Wands, so feeling more positive and optimistic about the future because of decisions you've made. I mean, when you look at the cards in the tarot chronologically, I mean, they're chronologically in order for a certain reason. They depict a path of growth and learning and evolvement and maturing, which is why we're here. So in the suit of Wands, we begin with the Ace, which is a new idea, a spark, a new opportunity. In the Two of Wands, we're at a crossroads trying to figure out which path to take in order to make that new opportunity actually begin to manifest. And here in the Three of Wands, we've done some of the work, and because of that, we're starting to see some of our smaller goals being met. We're starting to see our efforts begin to pay off, so feeling more hopeful and optimistic about the future. With the Three of Coins, which is working together, partnership, teamwork, collaboration, everybody having a common cause and goal and working together towards that, being on the same page. Doesn't mean that everybody agrees with everyone else. It means that there's compromise and negotiation in order to accomplish what the common goal is. And then from the bottom of the deck, the overall energy focus is the Empress, the traditional Earth Mother of the Tarot. Now, for some of you, that Empress might mean it might be that, I mean, the Empress is a card, it can be a maternal card. So, and I actually feel like for most of you, if not all of you, this Empress represents somebody who's in your environment. It's not you, but it represents somebody who's in your environment. It may be a love or romantic partner that you see as very feminine, very sensual, perhaps very nurturing, motherly. It could represent a mother or mother figure in your life. And if it doesn't represent an actual specific person, it's not possible to pinpoint that in a general reading. You know, the energy of the Empress is all about fertility and the time being right to plant seeds, to grow something to full abundance. So it's about planting seeds to prepare to grow something. But I feel like for a lot of you, this is an actual person with whom you have a relationship. Now, the nature of that relationship may vary. Again, it could be a mother, a wife, or girlfriend. You can substitute gender here again because it's a general reading. It might be a maternal type person. It might be a family member. But it's somebody that you see with the qualities and traits of the Empress, which is feminine, sensual, nurturing, maybe maternal in a sense. Sensual, abundant, beautiful, radiant, etc. So it may be here that the regret, we're gonna kind of begin to clarify and break this down. It has something to do, it's something to do with the connection, the relationship or connection you have with the Empress. For a small number of you, the Empress can represent physical abundance, you know, like having enough to eat, to drink, finances, material issues. It can represent that as well. Again, the details and specifics will vary because it's a general reading, but the energy fundamentally remains the same. Whatever the connection the Empress is in your life or whoever that person is, there's been something that's happened in the past which you, as the King of Wands, are feeling regret about. Now, typically, if this is any kind of a relationship reading, regardless of the nature of that relationship, when, you know, there's negativity or challenge or toxicity or arguments or conflict between two people in any relationship, there is usually, you know, if you want to say blame or guilt on both sides. But here it feels like you're regretting something that's happened in the past which has affected this relationship in a negative way. Maybe you've had your share, taking your share of the responsibility about what you could have and perhaps are willing to do differently, and also with the other person as well. Because this whole reading, Aries, is about readdressing an imbalance from the past, seeing things in a new perspective, and in that having the opportunity to make the scales weigh even in a way that they weren't before. And actually beginning to see fairly quickly some small results of that beginning to pay off as you come back into reunion with a person, could even be a couple of people or maybe somebody else that's helping, in order to move forward. Because the Three of Wands and the Three of Coins strongly imply that the two of you, which, I mean, there's got to be conversation in this as well. This also implies conversation between you and this other person. Perhaps with a third party as a helping or counseling or mediating sort of thing. You know, this implies that the two of you have had some kind of conversation, talking about that. How do we move forward in the future? How do we come together in a better way? How do we communicate better? And actually doing, not just coming up with ideas, but actually acting on those, implementing those, and quite quickly beginning to feel quite good about how well that you are working together again. All right, let's clarify some of this. Let's clarify. Yeah, it's about redressing an imbalance and bringing it into balance. Justice is about doing the right thing. It's not necessarily so much about feelings or who did what. This is about doing the right thing, seeing what the right thing is and doing the right thing from your perspective and your responsibility. We're not responsible for what other people are meant to do, only for ourselves. So let's clarify and qualify the Empress. Temperance. This is a great accompaniment to Justice, because this, my microphone, being my microphone, because this card represents balance. That's what Temperance means. It means balancing opposite extremes in unison and harmony. In the culinary world, to temper something means to take two things of opposite temperature and blend them together in a way that they go together. So if you try and do that too quickly and all at once, it's not going to work. You have to add each one to the other a little bit at a time until, you know, the temperature becomes friendly enough that you can continue adding the rest of it to have that tempered balance in the middle there. Not allowing your emotions to go to extreme, etc. So this is clarifying the Empress. So as a specific person, the Empress, who is loving and nurturing and supportive, looks quite open to bringing things back into balance. They may even be the ones approaching you. It feels like whoever the Empress is fully wanting to bring whatever it is that has happened back into balance. That's kind of what I'm getting. A very sort of, which is a very Empress-like quality, you know, regardless of who did what or who feels what the blame or whatever is, the Empress is, you know, willing to, I mean, she has this nurturing, you know, maternal sort of sense of yes, let's make this right. It doesn't, you know, it's not so much focused on who did what and portioning out blame as much as it is, let's do what we need to do to bring this into balance without focusing too much on, you know, what went wrong, only in the sense that we can figure out what was done in a way that didn't work so that we can do something different moving forward. Let me have one more card for that. Temperance and the Empress. The Four of Wands, this is happy home, home stability. It can represent celebrations with friends and family, although considering, you know, the COVID pandemic and all of that, I don't know how safe it is if it's outside of your own household, you know. But this fundamentally represents a happy energy around. It's one of the home happiness cards and home stability because of it being the number 4, the 1111 card, because it represents feeling the simple joy and gratitude of your home, of the people around you that you love and care about, and vice versa. But it's about having that be in balance, because 4, while it can be a number of stagnation, it is also a number of balance, and it's actually clarifying the card of Temperance, which is about balance. And so whatever this issue is, it has something to do with the happiness and balance of your home and family, whatever that means to you. And it's clarifying the Empress. So it looks like the Empress, regardless of the nature of your relationship with this person, is open and even eager to participate in this. Which for some of you might be a mother or maternal figure, or a family member as well, if it's not, you know, a romantic partner. I'm not going to clarify the King of Wands. For many of you, that's obviously you. Let's clarify this 5 of Cups, this card of regret, and focusing on what's lost or broken. The challenge with the 5 of Cups and the danger with the 5 of Cups is focusing so much on what went wrong in the past that you miss out on actually seeing what still remains, which also might be opportunities to, you know, get new cups and fill new cups in a different way. You know, our attention is where we are focused on. So if your attention is focused backwards, you can't move forwards. Let's clarify that. What is the substance or nature of the regret or grief or loss? The 8 of Wands, movement, travel, fast, powerful communication. Let's see what's behind that. The 3 of Cups, often called the party card. It's a card that represents having fun. Now it's interesting, this card has come up in not quite as a positive sense as it can be. It's a card that portrays a high kind of social energy. It's about getting together with people you like, partying, having a good time, drinking, dancing, celebrating. Can also represent positive connections in your community. This looks like, simplistically, this looks like, it feels like it might be selfish. Perhaps you or even your partner, or maybe it was on both sides, were very selfish in the past. Perhaps, you know, one person left very quickly to go and be with people or in places that they wanted to enjoy themselves in. You know, and not that there's anything fundamentally wrong with that, but why is this showing up as a cause for regret and loss in the past? I feel like there was selfish motivations. This is like leaving, moving, traveling away to do something for the pure inherent pleasure and enjoyment of the moment. Again, these cards on their own could be quite positive. You know, who doesn't want to travel and leave and move around and go spend time with people and have fun and drink and dance and enjoy themselves and connect and all of that kind of stuff? But it's here showing as a cause of regret. So maybe you left and your relationship with this person suffered because of it. They didn't want you to go. Perhaps they thought it was selfish, but perhaps you just, you know, it was really what you wanted to do and you were kind of pleasing yourself. It could be vice versa too. You know, it's a general reading, so it could be it could be both of you. There's some kind of regret over, you know, it could be that one of you in this connection has a pattern of going in and out and not taking the relationship seriously, or only being focused on now, not about later, not about any real stability or security in this relationship connection. And there's just regret about this. It looks like it's regret about decisions you made in the past, which were perhaps a bit self-serving. Again, vice versa, and this could be a combination of both of you. Yeah. Let's clarify the Ace of Swords, this epiphany or light bulb going off, or this new perspective you have coming in. Again, it could be both of you, because I don't want to seem like I'm beating Aries over the head with this. Oh, you did something wrong, and you know, in relationships are never clear. It's always kind of two-sided, you know. But it looks like somebody perhaps was inherently self-oriented to the detriment of this relationship connection, and it looks like somebody may be getting kind of a clue, or having kind of an understanding and awareness come to you that you didn't have before, perhaps about how your actions affected the other person and the relationship itself. And there's nothing wrong with that. We all have gone through times where we have hurt other people with our words, our actions, our choices, and not all of the time, but I think most of the time we don't intend that, and we don't realize it until perhaps later through conversation or whatever, and we say, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that, or maybe I should have done that a different way. And that's part of the learning process, is recognizing the mistakes that we've made. The Page of Cups, the beginning of conversation. Pages can represent young people or children. They are, in the medieval times, pages were runners. They took messages back and forth. So they delivered a message. So this is like, information or a message. And with the Ace of Swords, this is kind of like, for some of you, it might be that you're seeing something that you didn't see before, or seeing it in a way you didn't see before, and you're opening up, beginning a conversation within this relationship connection, starting that. The Page of Cups is the Page of Water, which is emotional energy, so it could be, I realized something, and, or I love you, I want to support and encourage you. It's not deep or heavy, it's like the beginnings of it. And it could be that because of somebody who is loving and caring and supportive around you, it might have been that they said something to you, or they said something either knowingly or deliberately that kind of gave you a bit of an eye-opener here. Let's clarify justice. Yeah, this reading, Aries, is all about bringing something back into balance. Justice is doing the right thing, fixing something, bringing something back into balance. But it has to be done it has to be something that's a choice and a decision followed up by action. The Three of Swords, heartache, heartbreak, emotional pain, breakup, separation, estrangement. It might be a third-party situation. I mean, maybe in this relationship connection, if it was love and romance, maybe there was a third party in that, romantic or otherwise, that you allowed, or the other person allowed, to come in between you and this person and this relationship. Again, the nature of what this emotional pain is going to vary in a general reading, but it's about making things right. And making things right for something that has gone on in the past, particularly with cards like Justice and the Five of Cups and Judgment, it implies that whatever it is you choose to do about this moving forward, it's about something that happened in the past. And we can't, of course, time travel and go back in the past and undo things, right? But that's what Justice and Judgment, it's a path of redemption. You can't go back and undo things, but you can make the scales weigh out even, or more even, bring something back into balance by what you choose to do and say, and how your actions portray that. So whatever the source of this emotional pain, there's a way to address it, to make it more right and equitable. Again, multi sort of person, meaning that a relationship consists of two people. It's not all on you, Aries. But of course, every person in a relationship connection, regardless of the relationship, is responsible for their own actions and decisions and thoughts and stuff. All right, let's clarify the Three of Wands. It looks like some early work is done, and that begins to pay off in this partnership, teamwork, collaboration. The Five of Swords. After some difficulty and conflict, cutting those things out which no longer serve you, which perhaps weren't good for this relationship connection. The Five of Swords can represent cutting people, places, or situations out of your life, which might be difficult, but you're doing it because you know ultimately it's a healthy thing to do. And it feels like you immediately here with the Three of Wands begin to see that actually pay off in a positive way. Again, there is some indication here that this was done recently, and you're now kind of seeing the positive effects of that. Let's clarify the Three of Coins, the partnership, teamwork card. The Knight of Swords. communication, conversation. Yeah, it's kind of what I felt in the beginning, Aries, that there's a conversation that occurs here between you and someone else. It might include another person. And it's about, okay, where are we headed? You know, what's the goal coming out of this? Again, for the love and romance relationship, it might be where the relationship itself is heading. But this could really resonate in any area of your life. Even work and career, if this issue is something that has affected a primary relationship, or a relationship with someone in your family, can affect the entire dynamics of the family itself. You know, the nature of the relationship is going to vary, but there's important communication and conversation going on here about how to work forward, how to see things in a different way, see each other in a different way. They see your needs and wants, and vice versa. And so you have made the commitment to leave behind things that didn't work before, moving forward, and you're both kind of on board on that same page. There's conversations and communications going on about this, and it fundamentally affects not just the nature of this relationship itself, Aries, but the balance and stability and happiness within your home and family unit, whatever that means to you. So let's pull a couple of advice and guidance cards for you. Two of Cups, the traditional soulmate card. So again, it might be a love and romantic soulmate, it might be a best friend, kindred spirit, it might be, you know, a family member, sister, brother, whoever. It might be the energy of how you feel about a parent, especially if that's a mother. In terms of the Two of Cups being advice for someone who is having issues or conflict within a relationship connection of any kind, the Two of Cups represents that the two of you are more alike than you might think you are, and that you need to take the time to see each other in more than just the surface physical way, because the Two of Cups represents two people who are, you know, it's more than just in a romantic way, it's more than just physical and chemical. It's about really being well matched in a lot of other ways, being more alike to each other than you might realize. This is what makes it such a good match, and it's about recognizing those rather than focusing on the differences that can tear you guys apart. The Six of Swords is behind that. This is healing. This is being in the middle of a healing process, moving away from whatever the source of the conflict is, i.e. making different decisions and choices and taking action that's different than how we've done it in the past, so that the relationship can heal moving forward. Let's see what's behind that. Justice. So we have justice twice. Yeah, this is about making things that weren't right before right now. Meaning you have to see something as going, you know what, that wasn't the right thing to do, or I see now how that kind of affected, you know, whatever. I'm going to make changes and do things differently in these ways moving forward, so that we can come back into balance again, because that's what this whole reading is about. So, Aries, that is your reading. I hope that you enjoyed it, or at least found it helpful and useful in some way. Again, if any of these readings resonate with you and you'd like to reach out for a personal reading for yourself, or perhaps as a gift for you know, a friend, family, or loved one, especially during the holiday season, just click on the description link below. You'll see my email address there. Just email me directly, Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I hope that 2021 is much less challenging and brighter than 2020 has been. I hope to see you all again in a couple of weeks for the very first general readings of the new year 2021. Until then, stay safe, stay well, and be blessed. Bye-bye.